Good evening, y'all. This is Spencer Keck coming at you live from the Hillbilly Think Tank here in Tunnel Hills, Hardin County, just outside of Elizabethtown in the county. And I am running for magistrate in District 3. Y'all, I am the educated hillbilly. And no, that's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. Y'all, there have been educated, erudite, and emancipated hillbillies ever since this state was founded, since, Daniel Boone brought all those folks through the Cumberland Gap. And our motto of united we stand, divided we fall, that really encapsulates the way that we run our business of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I have to ask everyone, how is this current war economy coming right on the heels of the tariff wars? How is this helping us see true safety, security, and economic security? Because again, I was out today at Fish Fries and just out and about in town. And yeah, I heard a lot of folks feeling very uneasy with the price of the diesel. They just still can't get it in their tractors enough. It costs way too much. They got to plow so many times before they finally do their planting. And it's really making it hard. It's obvious that when the president says this war is going to go on for 2 or 3 more weeks, well, we know whenever he doesn't have a plan for anything, he always says it's going to be about 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was that way under his first administration, and it's that way this time. Oh, we have the conception of a plan. That's what he said about his healthcare plan. And that it would be ready in 2 or 3 weeks. That was only 10 years ago now. So I really would like to see a real plan. We now know that we have had 3, possibly even 4 aircraft shot down in the last 48 hours. And this is not at all something that we are prepared for. We've had fighter jets shot down. We've had Warthogs shot down. They might have even hit some of our CSAR planes. That's the search and rescue planes that go in and try to rescue the pilots. So, man, this is just something that, again, I don't see any real good planning going on. We also blew up more civilian infrastructure. Anytime you do that, you're not helping the civilians decide to join us in our cause. And if we really want the civilians to join us in our cause, we've got to quit destroying their infrastructure. But no, this president keeps saying he's going to keep on destroying their infrastructure. So any hope that we had of this being something that would truly change the regime for the better, it doesn't appear to be happening at all. As any military general will tell you, and they are telling us right now, when you bomb civilian infrastructure, start killing more civilians, all that does is make the civilians who would have actually hated their leadership, now they're drawn towards their leadership. And this is supposed to have been, a way to free Iranians from their heinous leadership. But we're just not doing that, obviously. So, all right. Well, it's, the Department of Defense is saying, hey, they're going to go after this uranium, this enriched uranium. And, to do that, that's going to mean boots on the ground. But it's actually going to mean even more than boots on the ground in this war. We're looking at right now, if they put the plan into effect that has been floated out there, that's going to mean they're going to get 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium from at least one Iranian nuclear site. They're going to need to put excavation equipment, bulldozers, digging equipment in there to construct a runway to allow cargo planes to get in and out to transport that radioactive material out of the country. And that transportation is not something that is going to be easily gained or accessed. Like one comment person saying here, I'm sure there will be no drones, missiles, rockets, RPGs, mines, booby traps, etc., factored into this mission's success prediction. And surely this operation will be completely uncontested, right? No way at all that we could see anyone contest that airfield's construction. Man, well, at the same time, Trump is threatening to exit NATO. This has only kept us from war with the USSR, from war with China. It's only been one of the most successful ally organizations in history of the earth. And yet, here we go, right? So here's what our fearless leader says. I was never swayed by NATO. I always knew they were a paper tiger. And Putin knows that too, by the way, says Diaper Dan to Britain's Daily Telegraph, saying that he moved beyond reconsideration of U.S. membership. So, man, we are heading into a place that we should not be in. I'm all about national security, supporting our troops, of which I was one from 1990 to 2014, of which both of my younger brothers were one. And one of them lost his leg and hand in Afghanistan. And 4.5 years later, almost 5, my dad found him hanging in the closet. And then I had to, the next year, bury my dad after Agent Orange took his life. My dad picked up that Agent Orange in Vietnam. So I'm all about loving the troops, caring for the troops, supporting the troops. But if you want to support troops, you've got to have real leadership at the helm. And what are we doing right now? We are firing every single general that Whiskey Pete Keg's Breath does not like, because they represent the diverse military that he hates. And this is absolutely freaking ludicrous. Now, how many folks in this regime actually ever wore a uniform? That's a question I'd like to ask. All the folks that came up with this plan for the U.S. to invade and bomb and attack Iran, how many of them actually had any military experience? So these are the 4 people right here that shaped Trump's decision to go to war with Iran. And they have a combined 0 years of active military command experience. The only so-called veteran we have up there is Whiskey Pete Keg's Breath, but he still never had any command experience in the military. And his military career in the National Guard, that is, was cut short when they saw his white nationalist tattoos. Yep. So come on, explain to me how these folks are the geniuses. So, all right. Well, this one, just, right here, this meme says it all. The next big Iran war announcement. What are we waiting for? Just saying, love it. Everyone to get their trades in. They got to go trade on Wall Street, do some grifting before they make their next big war announcement. And if that isn't true, tell me what is. So, with that being said, again, back to this leadership purge. Let's look at it a little closely, because never in our history have we completely fired so many generals all at once in one single day. This just sends a signal to the enemy that we are in chaos, we are weak, and we are, well, I don't want to say gullible, but we're definitely easily bamboozled.
There was a purge of military leadership last night at the Pentagon by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. It included the Army Chief of Staff, the top general to the U.S. Army, which is incredible considering we're in an active war with another country right now. And it also included the lead chaplain of the U.S. Army, the one black guy. Who would have saw that coming, right? Right? But ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. Now is the time for everyone in this photo and all the other generals that have been purged, promotions delayed, whatever else, to communicate to the American people what is happening in Iran right now. We are not getting the full picture. We know that more U.S. troops have been killed and or wounded than we're being told. And if we are about to put boots on the ground, as long as it doesn't jeopardize any of their safety, which in my opinion, putting boots on the ground is leading them to the slaughter, now is the time to speak up. Now is the time to speak up. If you're going to do this and they're going to purge everyone and replace you with loyalists, remember your oath. Remember your oath. You have a chance to stop this from happening. Okay? And here's the thing. If you're worried about your pension or whatever else, that should be the last of your worries, honestly. But the amount of money you'll make from GoFundMe will dwarf whatever your pension is. We have to stand up to this. And you, everyone in this photo, are the best ones to do it. There was a purge of military leadership last night at the Pentagon.
So, again, calling on those who were purged, do the right thing. Do it for your nation that you served so honorably for so long before you were purged. How more clear can we make it? So, there's just no real way to make it clearer than that. So we have got to get back to folks that have real cojones, standing up, leading, and then leading us out of this chaos. Got to have somebody. Surely there's someone still has some cojones in the military that has seen enough and can say enough is enough. So, ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up, we no angel dust. Label us notorious. So this is the USA experiment. Let's get rid of all professors, generals, and scientists. Replace them with influencers, podcasters, and TV show hosts to see what happens. Out the gate, we did that with who? Armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up, we no angel dust. Label us notorious. Casino. Armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. How can you run a casino into the ground? The odds are with the house at all times. It wasn't just one casino, it was multiple casinos. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, bringing it back to our home front, we have seen how much trade wars now, how many trade wars coming at us, how much tariff wars. And now this war is hitting Hardin County so freaking hard. And yet a week ago, Ford supposedly gave us a commitment to actually come on back, put in another $2 billion if we'll let them completely own what used to be Blue Oval SK. And now that entity is going to be fully owned, or is fully owned, by Ford's subsidiary. Ford, that is going to make a battery storage company for data centers. Do we really trust it's just that? That's my question. But I hope it is. I'm hoping that Ford will not leave us hanging high and dry again, especially right now when we're so vulnerable. During the shutdown, it hit Fort Knox hard. And then at the same time before that, Doge running through and all the government jobs, running amok, firing so many people over at Fort Knox, that hit this county hard. And then right on the heels of that, we had this Blue Oval SK dream. We for years, 4 years, 5 years, we had been so hyped up. This county had grown so much, had so much promise with that electric vehicle battery plant. And yet now we're looking, we were looking at how those people only got to work there 3 months. Those 1,600 employees only got to work there 3 months before they were laid off. So is Ford going to do us right? That's the question.
Hardin County officials have an update on the battery plant in Glendale. The fiscal court met today for a special meeting that paved the way for Ford to continue their work in Glendale without SK. 8 News reporter Marissa Burke explains what this moment means for people in Hardin County.
Motion passes.
With the stroke of his gavel, Judge Executive Keith Tull authorizes the transfer of issued industrial revenue bonds from Blue Oval SK to Ford Motor Company.
The last thing that Hardin County wanted to do is to stand in the way, in any way, of things getting transferred over to Ford.
This moment is more than just paperwork. It's a commitment to Hardin County's future economic growth.
They chose not to walk away from Hardin County. They could have very easily done that. But instead, they've, in all, invested billions of dollars in Hardin County.
SK On and Ford dissolved their partnership in December of 2025. Production at the Blue Oval battery plant grinded to a stop, leaving about 800 people without a job. Ford is taking over the Glendale plant. Instead of electric vehicle batteries, they'll make batteries for data centers.
They chose to stick around. They chose to invest billions of more dollars, right, to come back and to really take a stronghold in our community. So for that, I do thank you all. I'm very appreciative of that. You didn't just leave us with a hole down there in Glendale.
Ford is investing around $2 billion. Once the factory reopens, it'll employ 2,100 workers, and that number is expected to grow in the years to come.
Ford strong, Hardin County strong.
Marissa.
All right. Well, I hope it's truly going to be Ford strong, Hardin County strong, because this is a wonderful county with wonderful people, hardworking folks that don't deserve any more of this type of playing with our economy. It was bad enough, like I said, that Doge ran through and ran amok, took so many federal jobs away at Fort Knox, not to mention running amok and firing so many people at USDA all across the nation. These farmers here, they need USDA. That is one of the ways they get help when they need it. When you need financial help, you need development of your farm, USDA. But no, just got rid of, fired so many thousands in USDA. So that took a hit to the county. Then came the shutdown, which hurt active duty troops and DOD employees alike there in Fort Knox. We're still reeling from that. That also hurt all of the businesses outside the base that rely on all those folks from the base, our biggest employer, coming out and buying things. Still reeling from that. And then now, the tariff wars already hurt our farmers last year terribly. And here we go. It's planting season, and we're being hurt by this war, jacking up the prices of all of our fuel right when it's planting season, not to mention all the folks that commute from here to Louisville. Even if you just don't commute to Louisville and you're employed here in the county, it even costs a lot more now just to take a short commute, work here in the county. And as we said, that urea that's needed to make the fertilizer, that's driving fertilizer costs sky high, because that Strait of Hormuz is not opening up for us for quite some time. Now, on top of this, we know the president said yesterday, federal government's not going to spend money on childcare, which everyone here needs. If they got a 2-income family and they're making minimum wage, you're going to rely on that. So federal government's not going to help with that. Not going to help with Medicaid. Not going to help with Medicare. So we're just going to say, forget the most vulnerable in our nation. We've got military industrial complex to make money off of. So, well, let's look at how much money the president wants Congress to authorize the military industrial complex to use next year. It is, we thought that nearly $1 trillion, a record amount, was amazing this year. Look at the amount they're pushing for next year. $1.5 trillion defense budget. Roughly half of this spending is going to go to private contractors, many of whom routinely price gouge the government. It's called war profiteering. It happened so much during our 20-year war that we just ended a couple years ago. And a reminder that Don Jr. and Eric Trump are big investors in drone companies looking to obtain defense contracts. See the problem? Well, they aren't just looking to obtain defense contracts. They got those defense contracts 11 days before this war was kicked off. So it's not just maybe they're grifting. They're grifting. So, all right, we have got to do something about it. We've got to make sure that right now we're just all coming together, and we're looking for folks to put into office that aren't going to continue a national grift for the Epstein class. We all got to come together, right, left, center, no matter where you think you come from. I'm sure you're most worried about our economy nationwide. I'm sure you're most worried about our national security and us not being attacked by Iranians because we kicked the hornet's nest. All right? We all want our kids just to live securely, eat 3 meals a day, and be able to live a healthy life with that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness we're talking about. So to do that, again, we've all got to come together, get over our pointing the fingers at each other as if we're each evil, and realize the only evil we're fighting is the Epstein class, who make money while we watch our personal economies go down the drain. All right, y'all. Remember, here in Kentucky, we live by the idea that we know united we stand, divided we fall. And if we're loving our neighbors as ourselves, and we're recognizing every single day that we are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper, and that all of God's creation is our neighbor. There's no one on this earth created to not be our neighbor. Then we're going to hold each other up and not let anyone else tear us down. So hopefully that will be our biggest thing over this Easter holiday. I hope you're having the best. I hope your kids are having the best, and that the Easter Bunny brings them all the chocolate and candy that they want, and that you can get over the sugar rush by watching the smile on their faces. This is my favorite time of year. Nothing that makes me fonder of than these Easter Sunday get-togethers with family and friends after church, eating some great food on a warm day, and run around with the cousins and the friends. So hopefully that's what everybody else is getting to do. Y'all, bless your corazon. Remember those deployed overseas right now. Let's all pray for those pilots that are down and they're being searched for. I pray that they are not captured and that they come home safe, and that we see an end to this nonsense, and that we see a beginning of real unity, and all of us standing together in the name of neighborliness. All right, y'all. Happy Easter. And I will catch you guys on the flip side tomorrow night. Hopefully, it will be a great night for all.
Your great grandfather didn't blow spot only because he